Hello everyone, it's Natasha from Treasure Books. The best thing about this project, there is no gluing or removing of the pages. We are altering an existing book and we are going to use the whole book. This journal is Christmas themed. However, you can adapt your book to your own preferences. You can use some of the ideas or all of the ideas, but my goodness, this is so easy to make. Let me show you how. I envisioned this book to sit open on my shelf at Christmas time. With that in mind, I went a little crazy with embellishments and filling it up, and hence this book is chunky. So before we begin, I want you to know that your final result doesn't need to look like this. It doesn't need to be gaping open and doesn't need to be so busy and chunky. We will discuss all of that as we go along. But first we'll make the project and then I'll do a flip through of this baby so that you can see all the things and get lots of ideas and inspiration. So step number one is to grab your book, any book. I am using this Reader's Digest book and I'm only using it because I had two exactly the same books and this one is made from this exact same book. And just a very, very quick side note, I'm sure that there will be people saying, don't destroy books and all that kind of stuff. The thing is, I got this book for free. It was being discarded by the local church op shop kind of thing, right? This book was published in 2001, which was 23 years ago. And by the looks of it, this book has never, ever been read. It is absolutely brand new. And this was the sleeve, so it's nicely and beautifully protected. The op shop couldn't sell it for $3, so they ended up wanting to get rid of the books. If I hadn't picked it up, this book would have been destroyed. So let me tell you right now, I do not feel bad about using this book in my crafts. Okay, now that's out of the way. Let's get started. As you may have noticed in this journal that I'm going to show you how to make, there's different types of sections. Let's say the first one and the last one, let's say there's three sections. First and third are exactly the same. And then we have this middle section over here, which is basically pockets. Pockets filled up with stuff. Look how cool this looks. And what happens here is we're folding the pages. I'm going to do that now. And we're creating all of these pockets and all these extra spaces. And by folding the pages, we are adding almost as if we're adding another page, plus we have all the things tucked in, and we are creating a whole lot of bulk. So if you don't want a book like this, you don't want it to be bulky and chunky, then perhaps you don't want to do this. You might want to skip this middle part altogether, or you might only want to have a small little section in the middle of the book. So this is where you kind of think about how chunky do you want the book or how much do you want it to gape. All right, first step with your book is find an approximate middle. It just so happens that this thing seems to be like in the middle of the book. I checked some other books. It's not always. Sometimes it's like right at the end. So don't go by this kind of thing. But you don't need to look at the number of pages. You don't need to find the perfect middle. Just go with the approximate middle. That looks maybe not quite the middle. Maybe we'll do this. Let's see. Yeah, that looks about right. I'm going to find the middle. Here it is. And I'm going to do the middle section first. So I'm creating pockets here. And you can do all sorts of stuff. You don't need to do what I've done, which is fold one page down like so, and then turn and fold the other page up like so. and then you get this effect here that you're seeing in the middle. You can play around here. You can have some pockets going like this. You can have some pockets going like this. You can have like long pockets. I have another video on altered books, and I'll link it in down below if you want to see a different take on this. All right, so now you just keep on going. So one's down, one's up, the next one is gonna go down. And when you're folding, don't go all the way to the spine. You wanna leave a little bit of space there. So that's about how much space I'm leaving. Just leave a little bit of space. I just repeated the exact same sentence, and we're gonna keep on going. These pages are, what's happening with me? I've only just started filming. So you might want to think about at this point, how many pockets like these do you want? When I was making my book, I didn't think, I was just folding away. But you might want to think about, do you want to have like 25 pockets? You might want to do like a Christmas thing of 25 days of this. Oh, I just folded that one wrong. I have two going up the same way. And you know what? It's okay, because you can, if you want to remove a page, if something like this happens, or it rips, you know, there's no rules. I do want to say that these Reader's Digest books have pages like these, and I take them out because I actually use these pages. So even though I said there's no removing of the pages, I only remove these because I don't want to fold them. I want to keep these to use in my journals. Like, look at that. I don't want to be, you know, I don't want this kind of hidden in the journal. So if you have a little mishap like this, just remove the page. All right, so that one's folded up. This one, now I'm going to fold this one down the right way. Okay, so far I folded 6 pages. So I started in the approximate middle of the book, and I went 6 pages this way. And now I'm going to go 6 pages this way, because we're trying to keep this section right in the middle of the book. So if this one's folded down, now I'm going to fold this way. This one goes up, and this one goes down. Really simple, right? In order to prevent rips, you might want to lift the page up and then fold, rather than fold from here. When I started this project, I had no plan in mind. So this was a one thing leads to another kind of thing project. And I loved, you know, I really loved the final result. Oh, look how fun that looks. You can make the whole book like this. Then in that case, it will just be completely open, sitting on a shelf at Christmas time. How much fun. All right, how many did I do? So I know that this is my middle, because they kind of, that's the only place where they both are folded towards each other. And here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Do I want more, or do I want to stop here? In this book, I folded 36 pages, which means I have 36 pockets, because each folded page is a pocket. We have a pocket down here, and we have a pocket up here. So perhaps I want to do a little bit more folding. So now I'm going to go this way, and let's say I'm going to fold another 4 pages down. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, and whatever I do here, I need to do on the other side to keep it nice and in the middle. So I do 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Look how nice that looks. How cool does that look? So far, the book hasn't grown much. Really, we've just folded 20 pages, which is the same as if we've added 20 pages into the middle of the book, because we're creating an extra leaf here when we're folding. So we are creating gapage, let's say. And then things are going to go into that pocket. So if you want, you can just completely skip this and do what I'm about to show you. So now that I have decided, I'm just going to stick with this in the middle of my book. Actually, I think I'm going to do a little bit more. I did another 5 there. I'm going to do another 5 on this side. And like I said, I want to keep these pages, so I'm going to rip them out. I just want to show you, in case you're wondering, this is what I use the pages as. I just make pages for my journals, and, you know, all sorts of different types of stuff. Like I do journaling spots and all of that. But I love these images, absolutely love them. And I used to get a lot of these Reader's Digest books. It seems as if they just flooded the market because nobody wanted to buy them anymore. I don't know why that's the case. And when I say flooded the market, I mean like flooded, you know, op shops and secondhand stores, thrift stores, that kind of thing. And I got a whole bunch free, but I also bought some back in the day of acquiring stuff. Okay, I think I have about 30 folded pages now. Yep, exactly 30 folded pages right there in the middle, somewhere in the middle. And this is why I wanted to remove that page that I folded. Remember how I folded 2 pages the same way? If I had 2 folded pages the same way, you will be able to see it here in the middle. It would be kind of, you know, a bit of an eyesore sticking out. That's why I removed it. Okay, that's done. Lovely. Now I'm going to go to the very beginning of my book. I'll see what I'll do with this first page later, and I'll leave that for now. And I'm going to start separating the pages in tens. So I'll count 10 pages. I might do sticky notes in between. I chose the number 10 randomly, like you can do, if your pages are quite thick, you can do, you know, 5 pages. If you want to have a lot more, because this is going to be a page in a journal. Traditionally, what we do with altered books is we glue the pages down, but I'm not a fan of that because there's, you know, crinkling and edges are not glued down, and mainly because when you glue all the pages down and then you go to turn the page, because see, whenever you turn the pages move. I'm getting a little bit technical here, but you see that edge nice and flat. All the pages are together. When you turn, see what happens to the pages? Of course, like common sense, they kind of, you know, do that. But when the pages are glued together, they're stuck together. There's no movement. The pages can't move, which is why I did it the other way, which you have seen from showing it to you at the beginning, but the pages are held together, but they're not glued together. So when you turn them, they can easily move. There's movement. I just remembered that video that I mentioned before, the altered book video. It was quite a popular video actually. It's an altered pocket book that I made. And during that video, on screen, as I was kind of turning the pages, making the pockets, that book was, the pages were like glued up the top. So that book also was never read. Do you know how many books just did not fulfill their life purpose of being read? It's unfortunate, but it's just the way it is. All right, so I have now separated this first section into pages of 10 or groups of 10, and I have here left over 4 pages. I'll decide what to do here, but now I'm going to go to the back and repeat the process going in. So I'm starting with 10 pages. I saw in one of the Facebook groups, I'm in a Facebook group where it's one of those everything is free. So usually each area or, I don't know, section will have one of those Facebook groups. So have a look if you have one in your area. And then people give away all sorts of stuff like toaster or microwave, rollerblades, you know, things that they can't be bothered trying to sell. They just want it out of the house. They're decluttering or something, you know. And I saw somebody list a whole bunch, like I'm talking a full bookshelf of old encyclopedias, because nobody buys encyclopedias anymore now that you have everything you need in your pocket, basically. So anyway, that's a good place to have a look for these kinds of books, hardcover books. 7, 8, 9, 10, and let's see how accurate I was in finding the middle of the book. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I cannot believe this. There's 5 pages here and 4 on this side. So I was pretty accurate in finding the middle. Well, I kind of did. I don't know. I for some reason, I have this weird ability. Like, let's say I need 11 beads, and I'm gonna go in and just grab a few beads, and it's gonna be 11. Well, that was a total fail, wasn't it? Oh. All right, let's say I need 11 paper clips. Oh, that's way more than 11. I think it's when you brag, then things just don't happen, you know. So there we have it. That was a total fail. But oftentimes, you know, I'll go, oh, I need 10 of these, and then I'll go like that, and I'll pick it up, and I have 10 of them. And my dad has the same thing, but now for some reason it didn't work. So let's just forget about that. Okay, now what we're going to do is make these pages into a page, so one single page. Now that we have separated them all, it's quite easy, and we can start putting them together. So let me just show you over here what we're going to do. I want to show you the movement of the page. So watch this page. See how it's nice and flat. But then when I turn it over here, there's movement in between the pages. All of this is free range, like there's no glue in there. There's movement. So when it turns this way, it can be nice and flat. But because there's movement, you can see how it's turned up here. All right, and the same goes for all of the pages. See how this one, nice, and I know this is hard to see, but what I'm trying to say, I suppose, is that there's movement in these pages. They're not stuck together. There's no bulging. Everything is nice and flat, you know, and I really like that because there's space here for the book to breathe. If you want to make something really quite beautiful that you want to sell or you want to gift, then I think glued pages together with buckling and wavy and weird looking is just, it's not gonna cut it. All right, this video is a little bit different to my usual videos because when I made the project, I just went with the flow. I didn't know where it was taking me. There were moments where I hated it, moments where I loved it, and I ended up loving the final result. So the tutorials is a little bit all over the place because I suppose I'm trying to talk you into making this project because I think it's just so much fun, especially this part. I thought it was very meditative, and in fact, I want to make a whole book with just this technique that I'm going to show you now. I think it looks amazing. All right, so here we go. You may have noticed that I drew a little line. That's just to give myself a guideline. I only did about 1/2 centimeter, which is about that much. Actually, it's less than that. It's like 1/4 inch, you know, just a little bit of space. Okay, now I'm going to go in with this, you know, little punch. You can use a thick needle to punch. You don't need to have these chunky holes. It's not necessary. You have noticed that I've done some sewing, which is what we're going to do. So now I'm going to start punching holes, and I'm lining up the bottom of my punch with the line here that I've made. So let's see if I can show you a little bit closer. I start off leaving a little bit of space. In fact, I should have left more space, but anyway. Now I'm trying to keep the holes evenly spaced, and I don't want them going all over the place. Because if you do it, like I'm going to try and be very particular here. And I actually did a really good job. I wanted to show you how you can kind of go all over the place and have these uneven holes which don't look great, you know, when you have something like this happening. But now I'm thinking, why not? You could totally do something like that. All right, going back to this. I'm trying to leave the same amount of space in between the holes. I'm kind of using this little part here as a guide, and I'm looking at the line so I know where to punch a hole. All right, and now just keep going. All right, here we go. The holes are punched. I'm keeping all of these. Don't ask me why. I'm thinking, I'm going to think of something. So there's going to be a lot of those. Now that the holes are punched, I want to go in very gently and erase this line. And something also very important to point out is you don't want the holes very close together. In fact, you might want them a little bit further apart than this. And sometimes what will happen is some of the holes will be quite close together, like this one here, some of them, because no matter how much you try to have exactly the same spacing and exactly the same line, it's not gonna, you know, you will have variations, let's say, and that's totally fine, because once everything is done, you can't see. But if your holes are very close together, there is a chance of pages ripping. And I want to show you in mine. And also, if it rips, it's not a big issue. The issue is that, you know it's there, and it's kind of, you're not a fan. But I don't know if you can see this one here. See that? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Because this business of punching holes can be tedious and boring, you don't want to go and do punching the holes through all of them all in one go. So what I do is I perhaps do 2 pages, one at the front, and then I'll go to the last page. So I'm always working towards the middle from both sides, and then I will repeat the process here, do the line, do the punching, and then I will do the sewing, which is what I'm going to do, show you how to do next. Sewing here, sewing at the back, and then punching holes, sewing, punching holes, sewing. So it's kind of broken up a bit. I'm listening to music, and I am, it's like crochet, it's like knitting. If you like that sort of stuff, you're going to like this. And even if you don't like knitting and crochet, who's to say you're not gonna like this? Just give it a go. I'm going to do a whole book in this method, because you will see, I don't know if you'll see, because I won't be able to do the whole book today. You will see how amazing it looks. Here you can't really see because I've added all of these jump rings, which can be a little bit, probably are completely unnecessary if I'm being honest. I was just taken by the flow. Okay, so what I did over here is I measured 3 lengths of my book. 1, 2, 3. I'm being generous when I say 3 lengths. Like I'm like probably a bit more than 3 lengths there, because let's say 4 lengths just to be on the safe side. Here we go. Thread your needle, and we're going to start putting this together. Okay, so this is instead of the gluing, I suppose. It just looks so much better. All right, I'm gonna go in from the bottom. It really doesn't matter how you do this, but first thing you want to do is make a knot right here at the beginning, and a double knot. And now we're going to do what is called, I believe, blanket stitch, but I could be completely wrong. So I'm going back into that first hole just to start it off. And here we go. All right, now you go into the next hole from top and through. So you're kind of making a little knot. You see that? You're kind of making a little knot there without having to put any thought into it. And you make it tight. All right. You have a little loop over here happening with your needle. It just happens naturally. You go through and you go through that little loop. When I go through, I don't go under the loop. I go through the loop. Oh, let me just do this, and then if you tighten here and you hold this thread with your thumb, you don't need to do any more thinking. You just go through and above. Am I confusing? And to make them nice and uniform, always tighten in a straight line here. So what I mean by that, don't do this way, because then when you try and get them knot, you see that how it's lost the uniformity. Tighten straight down towards you. Do you know how calming and meditative this is? Do you know how much fun this is? Like just sewing a book. I have this thing in my son's school today, and when other mums ask me, so what do you do for work? I'll say, oh, well, today I, was sewing some pages together in a book that nobody's ever read before. Yeah. Okay, we're at the end. Now we've done the final thing. Now we're going to go through that same hole again. Perfect. Make another knot like through the loop as we've been doing. And now we're going to go underneath these 2 threads over here. Wiggle through. And make a knot. Lovely. Tighten and chopperoo. You might want to, I don't know, add beads on here. It will make it too heavy, which is why I haven't done it. But anyway, give it a chop. And that's the first page done. Look at that. I'm gonna do one more. Now I would go to the back of the book, you know, but because I'm filming, I'm just gonna go on to the next section because I want to do green now, because we're doing like red and green, but different types of reds and greens, like they're not all the same tones. And I just want you to see how it looks without all of the jump rings and all of that. I'm going to be honest with you now. If you watched my last video, I made a video on using scraps to create cards and journals. And in that video, I mentioned that I started this Christmas book and I wasn't feeling it, and I kind of, you know, moved on to another project. The reason why, and this is the honesty part, is because I feel like this project isn't that exciting to other people. It's exciting to me, but I feel like you might be thinking, oh, it's just too, like, I don't know, I don't like that book. So the way that I justified it to myself, wanting to share this process with you, is that you can view this as like a fashion show. You know, when you see dresses by some designer and these dresses look absolutely ridiculous that nobody's gonna wear, like they look like this huge mattresses that I don't know why I said mattresses. I don't know, it looks like garbage bag that this model is wearing, you know. I mean, nobody is going to wear that in real life. However, what happens then is that parts of the design are taken and designed into clothing that people actually like. All right, that's how I justify this to myself, because I'm thinking you can take something from this book and make it into something that is more to your taste, something that you want to make, you know. For some reason, I just didn't think that you guys are gonna love this book. And I'm not talking about the one I'm sewing right now, I'm talking about the finished Christmas one. You might think, it's ridiculous. Why would you want to do something like that? I don't know. That's the thing. I don't know what it is. Is it the fact that Christmas really isn't really my jam? I'm just not that much of a fan of making Christmas stuff. So I'm a little bit like, ugh, how do I make this good? Well, let's just throw more stuff at it. Well, that's my motto, it seems. Finishing off touch over here. So we go through just like we've been doing so far, and repeat again through. Lovely. And under. Fabulous. And through and tie knot. I also tried to do Christmassy nails for this video to make it extra special. My daughter doesn't agree that it makes anything extra special. But you know what? It makes me happy. And making this project also made me happy. So you do what makes you happy. All right, so here's my idea that I had, that I'm going to do eventually. Imagine a whole book having this edge. You can make a complete altered book. I really don't have time to do the whole book today because it is a little bit time consuming, and I'd rather just enjoy this process and like listen to music and all that kind of stuff, but not today because I have an event I have to go to, and you know, all that kind of stuff, so I have to keep going. But I think it'll look absolutely amazing to have a whole altered book done this way. You can completely skip this business here, but let's pretend at this point that we have done this on all of these pages that we have separated and all of the pages at the back. And just to also mention, if you remember, we only had 4 pages left over. I did. Your book will have a completely different number of pages. It really depends, you know, how big your book is and how many pages you have left over here. But what you can do is make this 1 page. If you only have like 2 pages left over, let's say, I would add an extra page to, which means you have to move these. I would add, you know, some of these pages will have 11 pages, if that makes sense. This one here, for example, these 2, this one has about 8 pages, this one has about 7 pages, and you know, I just added pages to the pages next to it. Pages, pages, pages. So really that's all there is to construction of the book, or you know, the techniques that I used. So all I have to do now for all of these pockets is glue them down. So what I do is I open the page, and I always know that it's either the top or the bottom that I'm applying glue to, never the sides. So if this one folds down, I have to apply glue over here and glue down. You knew it was coming, didn't you? All right, now this one, I'm applying glue to the top and glue down, and so on and so forth until you have glued them all down. So now at this stage, once everything is glued down and everything is sewn, you have a book that looks like this. All the pages are like this. They are nice and pliable and movable. Nothing is glued and stiff and, you know, all that. And then you have all the pockets over here. You have a pocket here and a pocket here and so on. And then at the back again, we have those beautiful sewn pages and edges. And that's all there is to the making of the book. To be honest with you, it is of course the decoration and filling everything up that takes the most time. And now I'm going to go through this book so you can see what you can do. You can get lots of ideas and inspiration. And also these pockets are a little bit weird, you know, there's only so much that you can put in them because they're slanted, so we'll discuss that as well. All right, first of all, as you can see, this book has stuff on the spine and stuff on the side. So I went in with just some of this fabric that I have and glued it onto the spine. You can see that there, nicely glued, everything is hidden. And then I did something on the front of the book. This image came from a book. I have this book, I've had it for years, and I've been kind of using it up and cutting up some images and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's where this image came from. I popped some beads onto this thing. I forgot the name of, like a bookmark thing. Obviously it can't be used as a bookmark because it's chunky, you know, so that's not gonna work, but it's there like as a little tassel or a bit of a decoration or whatnot. And then on the inside I covered the front panel, even though the panels of these books, because they're so brand new, they're absolutely immaculate and perfect, so I didn't need to cover it, but I did. And I did the same on the back over here. Both of these came from that book because, you know, I don't really use printables and things like that. Some of the pages, in fact just the first page, the very last page, this one here, and then the pages directly next to the middle section, I didn't apply any of this crazy jump ring business. I'm not sure that I actually like it that much, the jump rings, when I'm talking about it, when I'm showing it to you, when it's moving and doing stuff. But when it's sitting on my shelf, I love how they look. These gold, I'm talking about these jump rings, these gold bits. I went through my stash and found anything Christmas related or any of the images that I've cut up previously, and then I started covering the pages. I have a total of 16 pages. I'm talking about these. I have 16 of these, and each one of these has 2 sides. So I have 32 sides. But I ended up numbering my pages up to 25. And some pages are actually not numbered, like here, because I have the extra pages. So that's something that you might want to do. I'm envisioning writing in this book, of course, every day, like starting from 1st of December and moving up to Christmas. That was my kind of what I envisioned this book for. So I wanted all of the writing covered up, so I used scrapbook paper, and I used these journaling spots that I have, and they weren't quite large enough to cover all of the writing, so I used washi tape. And these numbers, I had one sheet of 6x6 paper which had these numbers, so I just cut them out and off I went. The jump rings were added later, and I added jump rings on every second hole, and then on the next page also every second hole, but different holes, so they're not at the same level. And I also added some beads too. And then over here again you can see washi tape and these journaling spots. So I'm gonna write well, I don't know if I'm going to, but that's the plan. Each day coming up to Christmas, this is cool and fun if you have kids, you know. If your kids are grown up, then not so much fun for them anyway. But I think for smaller kids, you know, writing about their day, or I don't know, it's like Christmas related stuff. I don't know. Counting down to Christmas. Christmas wish list, washi tape. And then I have these little things, like little, you know, Christmas decorations there on those jump rings. And you get the point. I don't need to point everything out. I have some of these belly bands. You can make, but I was thinking of making these into pockets, but then I thought, well, this whole thing like can be pockets up here from the top, because none of the pages are glued down. So, you know. Now I'm going to destroy a page now, and that is also the beauty of this project. Here I just have pockets, as well as some pages which don't have numbers, because remember, this was it. I didn't have a plan. I just went with the flow. So the very last thing I thought is, oh, can I add numbered, you know, can I have this like a daily setup, December daily kind of thing? And then I started adding the numbers, but I had more than 25 pages. So some of the pages don't need numbers, like this isn't going to be written on. So I just wanted to mention, like, I want to, let's say your pages are ripping apart because your holes are together. Let's say the holes are very close together, and this happens. You know, is it the end of the world if this happens? No, of course, because you have options. Well, and I'm only showing you this because it happened to me. So now I know next time when I make this, I might make my holes a little bit further apart. I think I was a little bit too close. So what I did when this happened to me is I removed the page and removed all the evidence of the page, and then cut this out, and then glue it down. And there we go. It's like nothing happened, you know. Now I know I'm making the holes a little bit further apart next time I make the journal. Like I said, I had no idea what I was doing. I just went with the flow. So I am hoping that you're not hating it. If you're still here, I assume you're not hating it. Now with these, last minute, again, I just kept adding and adding and adding. I use these borders on, not all of them, just some of them. And the borders come from these 6x6 paper pads. You know how at the back they have things like this. And then, you know, I use those borders. I actually used them all up. And by the way, I was having an idea of making a video next week, perhaps Christmas themed, but with all of the leftover bits. See, I have this leftover bit from this project because I didn't need to use number 25. You'll see why. What do you think? Like, are you making Christmas stuff at the moment, and then you have all this Christmas like bits? I don't know, I was thinking of doing a project with that kind of thing, like this kind of stuff, you know. I try to be organized here. Let's see all those leftovers. I don't know, what do you think? I have no idea what it would be, but I was thinking of just using all the Christmas stuff. All right, so as you know, I just printed it up with the borders, and then as you know, these are pockets. So what happens with these pockets is, if you put, let's say, something like this, you can only go to where the fold stops, whatever you're putting in there. So, you know, you don't have a whole bunch of space. I mean, it's not too bad, but it feels like, oh, that's a deep pocket, but actually it stops wherever the fold is. So what I ended up doing is making tags that look like this, or journaling spots, you know, that look like this. So I just slanted them, and then they go in and sit beautifully in there. So you just need to make one template, and here we go. You take a piece of card, you'll cut it down to the width. I mean, not the whole page, but you know, like maybe just the writing, or a little bit less. Here we go. That's about the right width. That's gonna go in like this. And now I'm going to just draw the slant. So just from the other side, a line. That's the slant. But what I didn't do, I should have done, is, maybe I did, you want to kind of align it, how much space you want down here. So let's say I want it like this, and then draw the line. I think it makes sense. And then that's your template, and you can use that for all the pockets, all the ones that are going that way. And also if you want to apply, I only use these for the bottom pockets, and they work, the slant is the same everywhere. So there we go. Okay, now that that's out of the way, I use this, all of the kind of fun Christmassy paper that I had, and I did a little bit of sewing, and this is the part of the making this project that takes the most time, you know, gluing of the things and finding the things that go well together, and making these and adding the embellishments. And then that's the last thing I did. These are some of the stickers that I have, so I use them. And then in all of these top pockets I have one of these. They're all different, you can make your own. And I have these tags which are from Kmart, and I put these things up the top, little baker's twine, and they sit in there. The idea in my mind was, when wrapping presents and giving presents, I have these tags that I can use for presents, or I can journal on the tags. In all honesty, there's a whole bunch of journaling spaces here. So all of these are intended for journaling, and on, like, for example, you know, all of this, plenty of space here to do some writing. And on pages that don't seem like I can write on them like this, I can write in these spaces here. I can write here. I mean, it's really better that I don't have a huge chunks of space to write, because what are you going to write every day, you know, for 25 days? And then as we go along, I just tuck things in. I have this one strange kind of weird page here with this washi tape. I went in with washi tape, and then I decided, no, I hate that look. So that's the only page with the washi tape. And then that's it. It just keeps on repeating from here. I have this is a roll from the washi tape shop. I will leave a link down below. It's Christmas themed, pretty cool. And you can see the borders. And I think the idea at this point is just to go ahead and get creative and make little things. Some of my tags have these like ruffles, and I did different kinds of threads and different colors of threads. And you know, I was looking at the whole kind of layout when I open it, what goes with what. We have this green and you know, red and that kind of thing, right? We have the tags and then this, and I just tucked a whole bunch of stuff everywhere. And then also another thing I forgot to mention is, you might see all of these fun business going on there. So what I did is, look how nice this looks like. Oh, just love it. So what I did with my paper clips, okay, I need 5. Oh, it didn't work again. I got 8. I think I lost my supernatural abilities. All right, so paper clip in hand. And then I have this on my desk in case I need it for something. And then I grab a little bead. I just need one. Oh, look at that. My abilities are back, and I've got glue on my hands. Okay, and then we take the paper clip and your bead, which has to have somewhat of a largish opening. It's not so much that it can go onto the paper clip, but it has to go around these grooves. And voila, a little beaded paper clip. And then when you put it on, it looks so lovely, doesn't it? Back to the book. Borders, stickers. Oh, look at this. How oriental looking. Have a bit of lace, bit of that. And then tying it all in with a bit of this and a bit of that. I wasn't a huge fan of like tucking this in and tucking that in, but you know, I can make it nice as I go, as I'm using it up and whatnot. And then it just keeps on repeating from here. I even used blue. And look how cool this goes together. You know, it doesn't have to be red and green. Last week when I mentioned, I even used my special paper clips that I've been hoarding for ages. Last week when I mentioned that I'm working on this Christmas journal and I wasn't feeling it, I'm not sure if you like to see that kind of thing. Lots of you said that yes, you really want to see. I hope you're not disappointed, by the way. But somebody mentioned that she wrote, it was quite funny actually, because I kind of agree. She wrote, oh, for goodness sake, please don't do red and green. And you know, I mean, I was already nearly done with this journal, so kind of too late now. But I was thinking, why didn't I think of that? Why did I go red and green? It's maybe that's why I'm not into the whole Christmas thing, because I really do not like the color combination. I don't know why I just said that. I don't like the color combination of red and green. You know, it's just they're not my colors. And I think if I had made it maybe blue, like a snowflake kind of theme, you know, maybe like a winter theme, like, even though I'm in Australia, we don't have Christmas in winter, so really, you know. Anyway, perhaps I can do something like that. There's still a bit of time left until Christmas, so, you know. When I read that comment, I thought, darn it, I should have known. Anyway, here it is. You know how long I was looking for this red flower? I'm like, I need red. I need red. I don't have anything red. And yeah, see how many? There's lots of pockets. I really didn't need that many pockets. And here we are continuing now. Day 14 and 15 and 16. Look at this. Little pockets. And these little gold bits are, you know, left over. I keep everything, as you know, and then I have these bits. And I mean, why would I throw this in the bin? Of course I can use every single little part of it. And you know, you have to be careful with that kind of stuff, because you end up hoarding, and that's never a good thing. But when you have a special gold cardstock paper like this, well then of course you're going to keep every single little bit, right? So that's what that is. There's little gold. I kind of added them to all, I think, all of the numbers. And then I have pages like these, which of course, you know, I had extra pages, so I didn't need to do any of the numbering. And then I love these dangly little charms, and some of these are, you know, repeating ideas, because I'm not gonna try and come up with a new thing for each page. And then over here you see washi tape hiding the writing. You can still see kind of writing underneath. All the washi tape is from the washi tape shop. And then I had pages where the writing wasn't on the full page, so I utilized those pages. I think this is like a beginning to a new chapter. So I did a top loading pocket here and a bottom loading pocket here, and you know, these open up, can be written in plenty of journaling space. Santa's list, and maybe I shouldn't have put that at the end, but I think I was kind of like, just wanted to finish, I suppose. And then over here, scrapbook paper, and a bit of this and a bit of that. I left the writing here because it says follow the stars home, and one of them here, Christmas Eve, look at that, it's part of the book. Total coincidence. So where were we? 23rd, 24th, and then the 25th. This is why I didn't need to use the number 25, because I had this 25th December, Christmas Day, Merry Christmas, ho ho ho. And then over here I have this Christmas, what I love the most, what I won't forget, who we celebrate with, and all the details. And I left this page, and I left this page, and I can write on it. So that is the idea, to write in this journal. But will I write in this? I don't know. Now look at these. When I'm showing this journal, like sitting up like this, I'm not a fan of these. I even contemplated removing all of the jump rings, but it took me a little while to put them all on, and then I didn't feel like I can be bothered removing them all. But in all honesty, when the book is sitting upright, how it is gonna be, you know, like this on my shelf, and all of the jump rings are not all over the place, and they have space and all that kind of thing, you know, I like it. If I was to make this book all over again, would I do the jump ring thing? No, I wouldn't. Quick little break.
Hello, beautiful Doge. Hello, my gorgeous puppy. He's having a little sleepies. Yes, he's having a little sleepies. Oh, hello. You want to say hello? You want to say hello? Or you want to play? Or you want to play? Or you want to sleep? What do you want to do? You want to make a Christmas journal? You want to make Christmas journal? Banjo, Do you want to make a Christmas journal? Or do you want your little toy? Yes.
But since I mentioned the jump rings, it's obvious, but I wanted to point out that having these holes here, perfect opportunity to add little bits of whatever, you know, little danglies. These are the jump rings that I used, and you simply open it up, put it through wherever, close it, and there you go. So you can imagine how many of these I added. Plenty. Listening to music, just chilling out, you know, adding some jump rings, and then you can add little dangles on there, just make it really fun. And there you have it. That's how you make this project. Well, this project to be more specific. And I did say that it's easy. It is very easy, but it's not quick. It's a little bit time consuming with all of the embellishing and all of the sewing. The sewing is fun. The pockets and embellishing, putting all the things I mean, the whole process was quite fun, and the further I went into it, the more and more I enjoyed making it. I just wasn't sure if you will think that this is something that's worthwhile doing. I sure am glad that I did this project, because lots of new ideas were born, and I think it's going to look fabulous on my shelf. This isn't my shelf, it's still my desk. I was trying to kind of make it look pretty, but I don't know if I achieved. I mean, it looks so much better in life than it does in this video. Honestly, the video does not do this journal justice. As is often the case in a video. I'm sure you know this, like when you make something, then you try and take a photo and it's just not coming across as beautiful as it actually is in real life. That's how I feel about this journal. So I'm really interested in hearing your thoughts, your honest thoughts. Do you think this is something that you're going to make? Or do you think you're going to change it up and make it, you know, use some sections and not others? And anyway, let me know. But wait, in the meantime, if that project wasn't for you, this one might be. I made this last year. It's an advent calendar in book form. I'm going to link this down below. We have the envelopes full of little goodies that can be, you know, opened up every single day in December leading up to Christmas. So you might prefer to make something like this. Link is in the description below and at the end of this video. So more fun, more fun, more fun to be had. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.